Jaden, can you say hi? Say hey. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be filming a birth story, which is kind of a little bit different than most people do it, because usually when they have their, no, I'm good, Bubba. Normally when they have their baby with them, they're usually a few days old, a few weeks old, maybe a few months old. Jaden will be 2 on Sunday. So in the light of his birthday, I thought I would film a birth story. I just remember taking a midwife brew, and the reason why I took that was because at that point I had started to have preeclampsia, and I was pretty nervous that I was gonna have to have a C-section. I met with my doctor on Monday, and they told me that if I didn't have him naturally, that I was gonna have a C-section on Thursday. I was wanting to have the baby naturally, so I looked into ways online, natural ways that I could have a baby without it being harmful to myself or Jaden. And so I had found something, it worked for 80% of mothers, and it wasn't bad for mom or baby. The only thing that happened was that you either had the baby or you didn't have the baby. So in my case, I took it Monday night. Woke up that next morning, started having these little period pains, nothing. But I knew that they were contractions because I had a friend who was close to me who told me that they kind of felt like period cramps. So, and I have a high pain tolerance, so I mean, this might be something that's like high. I don't even know what centimeters, whatever I was at that point. I had no idea. No, I'm good, Bubby. So that day, I woke up. I had this urge because the contractions were going throughout Monday night, Tuesday early morning. I got up, they kind of went away. I was kind of like, oh, whatever. But I randomly had an urge to walk, so I went on a walk. And that day, the total amount of miles that I walked was 13 miles because I just would come in, be so tired, sit down, get some water, something, get some food, and then all of a sudden have this urge to keep going, walking. So I kept doing that. And I was recording, I was having 5 minutes apart, 6 minutes apart, 4 minutes apart. And then it got to a point late afternoon, it stopped. And I was like, oh, okay. At that point, I really just thought that it didn't work. I thought, okay, maybe it just got him a little excited, whatever. So Tuesday night comes, I'm just my sister's babysitting, and nothing really bad or anything like that. For fun, I got on this exercise bouncy ball. I was like, oh, this will be fun, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I go on it, bouncing. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Watch anime with my husband later that night. And so it's probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I just couldn't sleep. And I was just like, oh, I can't. And so then I went in the bath because I was like, oh, this will help my back. My back was in a little bit of pain. But my pain up to that point wasn't bad. It was just kind of I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. This is cute or whatever. And I thought it was kind of fun. I was like, ooh, it wasn't bad for me. I thought the contractions were going to be a lot worse. So zoom forward, we wake everyone up. At that point, I was at my mom's house, really close to the hospital. So we get in the car. It's my sister, Anna, my husband, and my mom. And then me, and then obviously baby in my tummy. So we're waiting to check in. She's on the floor, and I'm just not bad, no pain. She's probably about to have a baby any second or something. So I got checked in, complete, I was just they hurt, but it wasn't bad. It was like maybe a period cramp, nothing. But I knew something was happening. I just had this instinct. And I remember someone I used to work with, she was like, when it comes, you'll know. You'll know exactly what it is. And I knew what it was. I was like, okay, I know I'm in labor. So I get in there, I get into the triage room, whatever, which is the room that you go in first to kind of, you know, get checked out before you go into the room where you'll deliver. So I get in there, you know, I'm excited, like I'm happy, I have energy, I'm excited. I'm like, yes, baby's coming, baby Jaden's coming. Super happy, super excited. And then, you know, midwife comes in and she's like, so tell me what's going on. How many weeks are you? I'm like, 36 weeks. You know, kind of give her the whole, like, what I know. And in my time, she's asking me, she's like, so, like, how did you, like, you know, go into labor? And I was just, like, not wanting to admit that I had done something, like a drink or something, because I just didn't want to hear it. I was like, you know, I'm here, I don't care, I'm gonna get a baby, it doesn't matter. And I was just like, oh, you know, exercising, you know, stuff like that. She's like, yeah, you're not really supposed to do that, like, late in your pregnancy like this, especially if, you know, you have preeclampsia, like, you should really just try and take it easy. I'm like, yeah, but she just really want to walk, whatever. Anyway, she just didn't care. I'll just say this forward. I didn't care for her. She was just rude, mean, and I was just like so negative, and I was just like, ugh, not what the mood you're trying to have when you have a baby. So she checks me. She's like, yeah, how many minutes are your contractions apart? I'm like, 3-4 minutes, and she's like, we'll check. She's like, they're probably just Braxton Hicks. You're only 36 weeks, whatever. We'll check though. So she's checking, and she's like, you're probably not even diet. And she stops right there. She's like, okay, so she's 5 centimeters dilated. And I didn't take any labor classes, delivery, whatever, because I just wanted it to be like, you know, not comparing it to what anything else I'd heard. I felt like doctors know what they're doing. They'll tell me to do it. I'll do it. It's fine. But I knew that 5 centimeters was like the magic number that you were in active labor. So I was so excited. Everyone in the room was like, oh, like, it was just like a jumble. Everyone was like, almost kind of like, you know, everyone's kind of like, you know, they're in the room. And then, like, if someone comes in the room, everyone's like, and that's the person that they want to see. They're like, oh my gosh, like, they just started like, what's your blood type, blah, blah, blah. And, okay, let's get her in another room. And, you know, I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is happening. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. And then she's just like, okay, just wait a minute. She's only 36 weeks. This woman's not like 40 weeks. Like, she's not going, like, she could just, who knows, we can give her some medicine or at least hope that she'll, you know, stop contracting. Let's wait a couple hours and give her some time, and we'll give her some time and see if she, you know, anything else happens. And if it does, we'll watch your contractions. And then if we need to, we'll move you to another room. Now, I didn't notice at the time, but they were really like slammed. And I think that if they hadn't been so busy, that they would have probably just taken me in. But I mean, at the same time, like, I will kind of, you know, back her up, whatever. Because I mean, I was like 36 weeks. I mean, even though I knew he was a big baby, I even was like joking. I'm like, maybe he's a little bit older than 36 weeks, because like everyone thought I was having twins. Like, I looked huge. Everyone thought I was like having twins. It was big. I was like, maybe it's wrong. They're like, we're not wrong, we're the doctors. And I was like, okay, whatever. So at this point, I'm still kind of, you know, positive, and I'm like, what can I do? Is there anything I can do to make the baby come quicker, or go from centimeter? And she's like, well, I'd really rather you just, you know, like sit put, but I'm about to have another nurse come in, and she's gonna help you out, whatever, and make sure you're okay. And so then I talked to the nurse to try to get the nurse to help me. I'm like, okay, midwife's not helping me, whatever, bye. So the nurse comes in, and I'm like, oh, is there anything I can do? She goes, well, a lot of women, you know, they go on walks, they do squats. So I walked around the maternity hospital or maternity wing or whatever you want to call it for like 4 hours. I would like walk, and then I literally like stopped walking because I just couldn't walk anymore. I was just so big. I was just like, I'm miserable, I'm tired. So I go back, I sit down, and then they check me. I'm 5 centimeters. And she's like, okay, we're gonna give you like an hour or two. And I was so discouraged because like I was like, okay, this certainly has to have worked. I've been walking my butt off, squats with my husband, like just doing everything I can to make sure that baby Jaden comes. And I was just kind of like, okay, I'll still keep trying. So I get up around the room. I'm kind of like, you know, walking, squatting near the bed. My sister's in there with me. I wish I'd recorded this because it was so funny. I did the baby mama dance, which I was like, I wanted to do it, but I didn't know I wanted to do it. I mean, it wasn't a big thing then, but so I did the baby mama dance and my mucus plug came out. And I was like, oh, okay. So usually the mucus plug comes before the water breaks, and it could be minutes, hours, days, weeks. So like I really was like, oh yeah, when she comes back, I'm gonna tell her I lost my mucus plug. Like she can't send me home. And then anyway, hour 2 goes by and I tell her, I'm like, yeah, my mucus plug came out. She goes, well, yeah, let's just check you and see. So she checks me and I was still at 5 centimeters. I was upset. And then she's like, you know, I think we're gonna send you home, have you sleep in your own bed, get some rest. You've been here like almost all day. At this point, it's probably like 3 or 4 o'clock. And at that point, I just started crying. I was so upset. I felt so disappointed that I couldn't just have the baby on time, like have the baby when everyone else comes to the hospital on time. Turns out that my mom came early when she had me because she just thought she was in labor. And I was just so disappointed. I was so negative. I was so upset. Like I felt like I had failed. And I cried leaving, and the nurse who first helped me out, the midwife didn't even care. She's like, we're sending you home. She's like, you'll probably go maybe a couple more weeks and we'll see you again, whatever. Just really negative, just dismissed, didn't care I was crying. Like I was crying right in front of her. She wasn't trying to say anything. So the midwife leaves, the nurse is still there. She's like taking everything off of me. She's like, I'm gonna keep your band on just in case, you know, you like come back sooner than she's thinking you will. And she said, you know, like she said, you know, it may not feel like it, but she's like, it's good for the baby to have a little bit more time. She's like, it's like a cake, or like, she's like, that's maybe not the best thing, but she's like, you know, bun in the oven, the longer. Usually you want it to go the full recommended time till it's finished, because you don't want anything that's not going to be like fully done. So I was like, okay, Jaden, like obviously I want my baby to be healthy when I have him. I was starting to have contractions again. This was probably like around 12. I went back on the bouncy ball because that helped my back. At this point, I could feel like I was probably in some pain. Took a bath again. I was throwing up. My mom was like, I called her down. I was like, throwing up, not feeling good. She's like, you know, I think you're in transition. And I was like, no, Mom, I'm not in transition. I'm not in labor. I don't want to hear it. She literally, like, I would have stayed there until I probably had Jaden, because I was in such a negative headspace. Like, I failed, I'm not having the baby, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, not going. So she had to call, and it was the same midwife there. And she's like, yeah, just give it a few more minutes. And then my mom kept calling her. Like, my mom like harassed this midwife and was like, you don't understand, I'm watching my daughter throw up. She's in so much pain. She's making all these noises. Like, she's in pain. And she's like, okay, well, bring her in. So this is, at this point, it's probably like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I get there, same midwife, and she checks me, and I am 7 meters dilated. I was so happy. I was like, they can't take me home now. And then I think as soon as she told me I was 7 meters dilated, there was like a little bowl, and I like threw up. And I was just like so shocked. I was like, ugh. And so yeah, I was happy.